Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. Whoops. Johnny G coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. Want to welcome you to the February 17th, 2018 Vinyl Treasure Show on this snowy evening here, as I thought we were done with the snow, but I guess not, and that means tomorrow I'm going to have to shovel with this slushy snow, which I hate to shovel, but anyway, please sit back for the next 2 hours. Got some cool original vinyl 45s out of my collection, and we opened up tonight's show with Saxman band leader from Dallas, Texas. Worked with the likes of Benny Goodman, Big Joe Turner, Duke Ellington, Quincy Jones, and others on Morty Craft's Craft label. From April 1959, Mr. Bud Johnson, the Bud Johnson Orchestra there from April 1959 on the Craft label. As I mentioned, Castle Rock is the name of the tune, and I think that record also came out in stereo on the Stereocraft label. Actually, it's from an LP called The Big Beat Dance Party. Very expensive LP on Stereocraft Records if you have it. But unfortunate that we lost Bud Johnson. He passed away from a heart attack on October 2nd, 1984 at the age of 73. But he has some pretty cool tunes. I think the Chanters, he was the orchestra leader for a lot of the Chanters releases on Deluxe and also on that Craft label. Well, enough of my babbling here. Let's start it off with the vocal portion. We start off with this group out of Harlem, New York. It's their debut single on Ben Smith's Extra label. Features Harlan Jackson on lead. He also wrote the tune. It's from 1957. We open up with the Collegians on Extra and their tune called Let's Go for a Ride.
Let's go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride, my dear. The night is warm and clear. Won't you come and sit right here? Please don't say no. Please don't say no. Let's go for a ride, my sweetie. I want to set the beat. So come right in the sea. Go with me for a ride, for a ride. For you, won't you come and sit right down, enjoy its proper to do. Let's go for a ride, my dear. The night is warm and clear. Won't you come and sit right here? Go with me for a ride, for a ride. Just for you, won't you come and sit right down, enjoy its proper to do. Let's go for a ride, my sweetie. I want to step the feet, so come right in the sea. Go with me for a ride, for a ride. Well, let's go for a ride, yeah, 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 let's go for a ride.
We open up the vocal portion there with the Collegians. The Collegians, that's their debut single from 1957, Ben Smith's Extra label. If you want to collect some good vocal group harmony, that Extra label's got some rarities on it for sure. The Collegians there, Harlan Jackson, he's the lead singer. Let's Go for a Ride is the name of the tune. They would have one other release on the Winley label, a nice two-sider. Used to hear that tune, Zoom, 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 all the time on the WCBS FM and all the oldie stations back then in the early 1970s. But you don't want to go for a ride tonight, at least not if you're in the New York area or Westchester County area. We got about what looks like 4 inches of snow, heavy snow. And I was over in Port Chester, New York. Barbara and I actually had an early dinner with her friend Sandy and her husband Paul, and thank you Sandy and Paul. We had a good time tonight at that restaurant. Good Italian food, that's for sure. But anyway, let's continue here. John G babbling on here, and we stay in Harlem, New York for this for this record, which was the first vocal group 45 I ever played, or I first played on my initial Vinyl Treasure show back in September of 2005. And this was the first record I played. And this group, they were first known as the Five Willows, and they shortened it to the Willows. They have so many great songs through the years, and you know their signature song. It originally was called Church Bells Are Ringing, but of course a big hit they had on Morty Kraft's Melba label. But here's their third release for Melba. It features Tony Middleton on lead. Here are the Willows, February 1957. It's on the Melba label, and their tune called Little Darlin'.
Ba 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 da da.
Well now, little darling, I really love you so, and I'll never, ever let you go, because you're mine, alone, alone, alone. I really love you, oh yes, I love you so, and I'll never, ever let you go, because you're mine, oh mine. You know, I love you so, and I'll never let you go. You know, I want you so, 'cause I love you so. Well now, little darling, I really love you so, and I'll never, ever let you go, because you're mine, oh mine. You know, I love you so, and I'll never let you go. You know, I want you so, 'cause I love you so. Well, little darling, I really love you so, and I'll never, ever let you go, because you're mine, oh mine. You're mine, oh mine. You're mine, oh
February 1957 release there. February 1957 release there on the Melba record label, Morty Kraft's Melba label there. Those are the Willows. That is their third release on the Melba label. Little Darling is the name of the tune. They also had other releases, lots of other releases on different labels, Club, El Dorado, Gone, Warwick, Heidi, and others. But Tony Middleton also some solo records that to go for some bucks. Just saw one, well, it didn't go for that much. I think it was up in the Driftwood, I think it's the one he does on the UA label. Bought that one for $15. Used to go to a record show up in Waterbury, Connecticut. I don't even know if they have that one anymore. But anyway, Jaji babbling on here. Let's continue. Got a few more stragglers from that Moon theme special I did a few weeks ago, and some flip sides too. And one of the sides I played was by this Detroit, Michigan group. They were called the Royals. Played the tune called Moonrise. Charles Sutton, he was the lead singer. Let's hear the flip side. A different lead singer for that side. It's Henry Booth. He's the lead singer here with the Royals. This is the third of 10. Sid Nathans, it's a gold top Federal. It's from July 1952. The Royals on Federal with 5th Street Blues.
Fifth Street, met my baby down there. Yes, I went down on Fifth Street, met my baby down there. She's fine and mellow, but she just ain't got no eye. Yeah, she's short and she's fat and she's oh so doggone sweet. Yeah, she's short and she's fat and she's oh so doggone sweet. Every time she walks, she wobbles all over the street. Yeah, 5th Street, 6th Street, Central and 5th. Hey, 5th Street, hey! Write me, baby, sometimes give me a call. Yes, write me, baby, sometimes give me a call. It's time for me to leave and I may be back next fall. Yes, goodbye, baby, I'll be back someday. Bye, baby, bye. Yes, goodbye, baby, I'll be back someday. Bye, baby, bye. Yes, I'm leaving Cincinnati, I gotta be on my way.
Early sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Royals. The Royals from July 1952. Henry Booth, he's on lead there. That's on the Federal label. 5th Street Blues is the name of the tune. There's a lot of records that mention Cincinnati in the title. That's probably another theme song I can do. Records and groups, songs that are mentioned, or songs that mention Cincinnati or groups out of the Cincinnati area. Well, that really opens it up to quite a bit anyway. And theme songs are hard for people that play real vinyl because you got to go find the records and it can be difficult, but maybe that's why I need some elves here to help me. Anyway, John G here for a Saturday evening, a snowy evening that is will supposed to be melting by President's Day. I guess it'll all be gone, but we'll see what happens. But let's continue here. We move up a year to 1953. We go back to Harlem, New York, to the vaults of Atlantic Records, Yellow Atlantic label, by the way. And this group put out 3 on Atlantic. Here's their third with Harold Sonny Wright on lead. Maybe you know who I'm talking about. We're talking about the Diamonds, not the Diamonds from Canada, the Diamonds from Harlem, New York. This one from December 1953. Atlantic Records. Their tune is called Cherry. now. Those are the Diamonds. The Diamonds with Harold Sonny Wright on lead out of Harlem, New York. That's their third release on the Atlantic record label, December 1953. Cherry is the name of that tune. Also covered, you may own a copy by the Jive Bombers on Savoy. They do a nice rendition of that one. Also, in 1963, the Rivingtons covered that record on Liberty Records. Nice cover of that tune, but I think that's the best version in my opinion. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we move up to 1954 now for this group that collectors, at least the early collectors, always thought was an African-American group, but no, they were not. They were a white group and pretty much a mystery. No one knows really who they are, but they recorded two on Jerry Blaine's Josie label, and I'm going to play their first release now. The A-side is a wonderful ballad. It's called The Stars Are Out Tonight, but I'm going to spin the B-side of the 45 tonight. Of course, we'll play the other side on the next 50's edition, but they're called The Teardrops. It's from August of 1954. This is the B-side to their first release on the Josie label, The Teardrops, and their tune called Oh, Stop It.
Baby, 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 please stop. Oh, stop it. Oh, 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 stop it. Oh, my baby, stop it. Please don't do this to me. Oh, 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 stop it. Oh, honey, stop it. Oh, 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 stop it. Please don't do this to me. Well, I went to your house about half past 8. Found another fella waiting at the gate. Went to the porch and knocked on the door and done found out my baby done me wrong. Oh, stop it. Oh, 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 stop it. Please, my baby, stop it. Please don't do this to me. Oh, 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 stop it. Oh, honey, stop it. Oh, 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 stop it. Please don't do this to me. Well, I went to your house about half past 8. Found another fella waiting at the gate. Went to the porch and knocked on the door and done found out my baby done me wrong. Oh, stop it. Oh, 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 stop it. Oh, my baby, stop it. Please don't do this to me. 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 Please don't do this to me.
That group called The Teardrops, August 1954. It's on the Josie label. You would never expect a white group to be on the Josie label, at least the early releases on Josie, but there were some for sure, but they sound more like an African-American group, especially on the flip side of that, or the A side, and their other record, which is really hard to find. The Teardrops there, Oh Stop It, that's the B side of the 45. It's their other release that's much harder to find, a song called My Heart, but you can get the cheaper reissue of this one that I played on the Port label that came out in 1960. Many of those whirling disc 45s and some of the rarer Josie releases came out on that Port label. I think Jerry Blaine, his son or somebody owned that label and put out a lot of that, or reissued a lot of that stuff, which a lot of the record companies did. You know, the whole thing is to make money, to sell your 45s at what, 79 cents a piece or whatever, but I don't want to spend that. I want to spend 10 cents a piece on all my 45s, although I wish that was the case. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we make our first trip out to the West Coast as we go to Los Angeles, California for this group that began recording back in 1953 as the Lamplighters, had 12 releases on Sid Nathan's Federal label. Then in 1955, they changed their name to the Tenderfoots for, I think, 4 releases on the Federal label. This one written by Carl White. He is also doing lead. This one from June of '55. The Tenderfoots, aka the Limelighters on Federal, and their tune called Those Golden Bells.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oh, darling, where are those bells? Well, those wedding bells. What a world of happiness. Their harmony foretell. Ding dong. Oh, darling, where are those bells? Yes, those wedding bells. What a world of happiness. The harmony foretell. Well, you walk down the aisle, yeah, and you were wearing a smile. Then I took your hand. Then we said, I do. Oh, darling, where are those bells? Yes, those wedding bells. What a world of happiness. The harmonies foretell.
That's a nice tune there. I've never played that on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Got all the Lamplighters 45s and the Tenderfoots there. That's a nice one there. That's their 4th for the Federal label from June 1955. Those are the Tenderfoots, a.k.a. the Lamplighters, Those Golden Bells. It's the name of the tune. It's on Sid Nathan's Federal label. Carl White, he is the lead singer. Now, of course, this group, Carl White and Al Frazier, I think they would evolve into the Sharps. Do a lot of great releases, the Sharps, on many different labels. JohnnyG's here for a Saturday evening from 10 to midnight right here every Saturday on Top Shelf Oldies. Can't believe the month will be ending already. Next Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, that means it's my all 60s show next Saturday, 1964 and later. 45s out of my collection, but we continue here with the 50s. And here's a flip side from about 3 weeks ago. I think I played the other side of this record as we stay in Los Angeles for this group, called the Calvains. I featured the B-side of their debut single, a great ballad called Don't Take Your Love From Me. But here's the intended A-side. Features Herman Pruitt on lead. We go to Dootsy Williams, Dude's own label for this one, September 1955. They're the Calvains, and their tune called Crazy Over You.
Crazy, 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 crazy over you. Crazy, 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 crazy over you. Crazy, I tell you that I'm crazy, so crazy that I'm hazy, crazy over you. Crazy, without you, dear, I'm crazy, so crazy that I'm hazy, crazy over you. Crazy as can be, love's ecstasy.
that you're crazy. Crazy. I tell you that I'm crazy. It's so crazy that I'm hazy. Crazy over you. Crazy as can be, love is ecstasy. Listen to me, crew, that you will see that you're crazy. Crazy, I tell you that I'm crazy. So crazy that I'm hazy. Crazy over you. Crazy, 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 crazy over you.
Those are the Calvains. That's a cool up-tempo. I like that one there. Crazy Over You, September 1955 on the Dutone record label. That is the first of two they recorded on Dutone. And the A-side, Herman Pruitt, he's on lead. Also really love that flip side there, Don't Take Your Love From Me. And they do, there's an EP they do. One of the releases doesn't come out on a 45, and it's a great record. I forget the name of it, so if you see that Calvains EP, you got to buy that record. Yes, but you got to be careful. There's like second presses and third presses of it. But anyway, Johnny babbling on here for a Saturday evening. We continue here, and this next group, they're out of Brooklyn, New York. Posted this one up on my Facebook wall. You can check out the label. It's their debut single came out on the Do Re Mi label back in 1955 as the Mellow Harps. That's a 45 that I still need. I'll even take it on a 78. But they signed with the Tin Pan Alley label for 3 more releases. But before their last release on Tin Pan Alley, they recorded this one on the Rego label. And it's a re-recording of their first record on Do Re Mi. They re-recorded it on Rego, and it features Arnold Malone on lead, and you're going to hear that high falsetto voice in the background. That's Vernon Staley. He is doing that high falsetto voice that is associated with the Mellow Harps. But on this release, they're called the Teen Tones, and it's with Larry Lucy and the orchestra. It's the intended B-side of the 45. This was not the side they pushed. The other side, they did Walkie Talkie Baby, which is a decent up-tempo, but I like this side better. It's from January 56. Give a listen to the Teen Tones on Rego. It's their resung version of Love is a Vow.
Go. You know deep in your soul that I love you so. Not knowing that our romance was still growing within our hearts. Within my heart,
Yeah, they're called the Teen Tones. There it goes. They're called the Teen Tones, a.k.a. the Mellow Harps, really. And that one there from January 1956 on the Rego label. The tune is called Love is a Vow. That is the B-side of the 45. John G continuing here for a snowy Saturday evening. Here's the flip side from the special Moon theme show I did a number of weeks ago. I featured a rare 45, pretty rare 45 on Morty Craft's Saxony label. The group was called the Victorians. I featured the B-side of the 45. It was called Heartbreaking Moon. Now, we're going to give a listen to the A-side. It features Bobby Thompson on lead. This one from January 1956. They're called the Victorians. It's on Saxony. The tune is called I'm Rollin'.
I'm rolling. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. All alone. Well, I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. Gonna left my happy home. I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. Just like a rolling stone. Well, I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. Not a penny to my name. I'm rolling, 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 and I've only myself to blame. I didn't know when I was living fine. I mumble and grumble all the time. Well, I'm rolling, 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 'cause I feel so sad and blue. I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. I was a fool for leaving you. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. All alone. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. All alone. I didn't know when I was living fine. I mumble and grumble all the time. Well, I'm rolling, 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 'cause I feel so sad and blue. I'm rolling, rolling, rolling. I was a fool for leaving you. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. Shut up. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. All the time.
Yeah, those are the Victorians. The Victorians From January 1956, that's the intended A-side, a tune called I'm Rollin'. Nice up-tempo there. I love the saxophone breaks in these records. They are great. It's on Morty Craft's Saxony label. Now, Bobby Thompson, he was the lead singer on their next release after this. A song called Wedding Bells came out on Selma Records. And prior to recording as the Victorians, they were known as the Four Fellows on the Triborough label. I don't have that record, or 78, I should say. Stop Crying is their record from 1953. Jai G here for a Saturday evening. We count down the music chronologically here when I do my 50s and early 60s show, so that's why you don't hear me mixing. I used to mix it up, then I stopped it, then I went back to it. It's just because I don't like to hear, like Judy by the Ravons with I'm Rollin' by the Victorians. I just don't think it goes, nor do I think if I want to play a 60s record. It's just too much. I just want to do the same genre of music I think it is, and think the better way to do it, and I can do it if you have the knowledge to, at least, to try. But that's what I do. But I don't like to play a rare garage record and now play this next California record. It just doesn't go in my book. But anyway, some people do, but different strokes for different folks. What could I say? Let's continue here. We are in the year 1956. Let's head back out to Los Angeles, California. I remember hearing this one quite a bit on oldie radio back in the early 1970s, like shows like the Time Capsule Show, the R&B Review, and other shows. Collectors were spinning their vinyl like I do every Saturday here on Top Shelf Oldies. But this group, they were founded by an ex-Hollywood Flames member that you know. His name is Gaynell Hodge, and he is doing lead on this one with the Ernie Freeman Orchestra. It's on John Dolphin's Money record label. It's the second of two they recorded on the Money label. We go to February 56. These are the Turks with their tune called I'm a Fool.
I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. Because I love you. I love you. Darling, I'm a fool. I can't stop loving you.
The sound of the Turks here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Gaynell Hodge, He's the lead singer there. That one from February 1956 on the Money label, one of the thousands of labels that your host Johnny G collects. The Money label there. The Turks with I'm a Fool. That's the second of two for the Money label. That tune written by Gaynell's mother, Catherine Hodge. She wrote that tune for Gaynell. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes here. We are moving into the year 1957 now. Let's stay out on the West Coast to Lenora Roop's Ebb label out of Los Angeles, California. This group was known as the Tempo Mentals. Two of the group members were from the Pyramids that recorded on the Federal label, Joe Dandy and Melvin White. They are members of this group, the Tempo Mentals. Now, this song reached number 24 on KWBR out of Oakland, California. That was Don Barksdale label, the basketball player. Yes, he also owned the Rhythm label and other labels in Oakland, but he also had a radio station, KWBR. This was the number 24 song in July, maybe a little later than July, but this one came out July 1957. The Tempo Mentals on Ebb. Their tune is called Dearest. July 1957 release there. That's a nice ballad there by the Tempo Mentals. Yes, Dearest is the name of the tune. It's on Lenora Roop's Ebb label out of Hollywood, California. That's a cool tune. Johnny G here spinning my original vinyl 45s. Hope you're digging on these cool 45s. We continue here, and I have a female lead with male backing. They are out of New Haven, Connecticut. Actually, it's a tale of two groups out of New Haven, Connecticut. The female lead was a member of a group called the Chestnuts, recorded for Joe Davis's Davis label. Now, the male group backing her up also recorded for Joe Davis's Davis label as the Pyramids. Actually, I think the gal brought them over to Joe Davis to record for the Davis label. But Benny Benjamin, who wrote this song, asked if this group, the Pyramids, would consider backing up this gal, and they agreed, and her name was Ruby Whittaker. The result was this release on George Goldner's Mark X label. We go to October 1957 and give a listen to Ruby Whittaker and the Pyramids. It's on Mark X, as I mentioned. The song is called I Get the Feeling.
The feeling, the feeling, I get the feeling, the feeling, the feeling, I get the feeling.
I get the feeling I'm off the ground. I get the feeling each time you're around. I get the trembles, my knees grow weak, my heart goes crazy when I hear you speak. We've a magic that has me in a spell constantly. Nobody else, love, can do the things that you do to me. We kissed and a message comes stealing through. I get the feeling you feel like I do. We've a magic that has me in a spell constantly. Nobody else, love, can do the things that you do to me. We kissed and a message comes stealing through. I get the feeling you feel like I do.
I get the feeling, the feeling, I get the feeling.
Yeah, well, you know that Johnny G gets that feeling every Saturday from 10 to midnight, spinning records like that one from October 1957 out of New Haven, Connecticut. Ruby Whittaker and the Pyramids there. George Goldner's Mark X label. I Get the Feeling is the name of the tune. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, here's another flip side from a number of weeks ago. We go back out to California to the Corvette label. I featured Johnny Ross and a group, and I played the intended A side of the 45, the up-tempo side. It was called That's What You Mean to Me. The B side is a nice ballad, also features a full vocal group. Don't have any info, though, on who they are, but the song was arranged and directed by Chuck Tequila Rio, and whose real name is Daniel Flores, and he was the sax player and writer of the Champs' Tequila, a big hit they had on the Challenge label. He also penned this tune for Johnny Ross. We go to September of 1958. Johnny Ross and a group on Corvette. The tune is called My Dreams Have Gone.
My dreams are gone, the vanished away.
Why do you leave me? Why do you go? Need your love, dear. I need you so. Oh, darling, please come. My dreams have gone, they vanished away. I really want you to know.
Darling, my dreams have gone now. What can I say? You left me, darling. Why would you leave me this way? I'll always love you, darling. And I'll keep your love right here in my heart. Please come back. Let's make a brand new start. I need you, darling.
Who is that group? I don't know who that group is, but anyway, that's Johnny Ross and a group, September 1958. It's on the Corvette record label. That is the B-side of the 45, a song called My Dreams Have Gone. Johnny G's dreams have not gone. I still have faith that I'll find that Corvette's on the Moon label. We will see. But let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We stay in the year 1958, a rare 45 out of Kinston, North Carolina. I played the intended B-side of this 45 on a previous show, a song called "'Cause I Love You So." But let's give a listen to the intended A-side. It was written by the manager of the group. His name is Lehman H. Drummage, and we're going to give a spin to a group known as the Cool Toppers. It's on a label called Beverly Records out of North Carolina. Remember, Barry Salt sold me this 45 a long time ago. We go to May of 1958, the Cool Toppers on Beverly, and the tune is called "Is That Exactly What You Want to Do?" That's a rare record. There it goes. That's a rare 45 out of North Carolina from May 1958. They're called the Cool Toppers. That's the A-side. Is That Exactly What You Want to Do? It's on the Beverly label. Do I have another one on Beverly? I'm trying to think if I have that one that plays the accordion, if that's on the Beverly label, as John G draws a blank. I think it is. You know, there's a there is a group harmony 45 that there's an accordion, the Tamineers. Is that it? Anyway, John G babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. And up next, we're going to send this next 45, this next song out to Mr. George Tompkins, and I haven't heard this one in quite a while. And Charlene, my administrative assistant, nor I could find any information about this group, but I did find something, believe it or not, about this record on the Date label, that actor Burt Lancaster is involved with this 45, not specifically with the 45, but definitely with the label and the publishers. Now, the publishers are, how do you pronounce this? HCHT. Is that Hecht? But that's Hecht, Lancaster, and Buzzle. Now, Harold Hecht was a film producer, I think in the early to mid 1950s, and Loring Buzzell was his brother-in-law, and I guess they teamed up with actor Burt Lancaster for this publishing company and involvement in the record industry. And they probably own this label. It's Date Records. It's not the 60s Date label with CBS Records. This is a label called Date Records. There's about 10 releases or so on the label. Some good ones, a cool rockabilly one for sure, and other ones. But anyway, it's out of New York City. And we're going to send this one out to George Tompkins. It's from April 58. This group is called The Temples. It's the B-side of the 45. It's on Date. It's called Whispering Campaign.
Oh, whispering campaign. Please believe that I adore you. When you don't, it brings me pain. Don't you listen to the gossip of a whispering campaign. Whispering campaign. Yes, I had some other dates, dear, but they all have been in vain. All they done is start the gossip of a whispering campaign. Whispering campaign. Don't believe in what you hear, dear. Most of the time it's never true. Just believe the real thing, the real thing. I belong to you. So let's show them we're together, and their loss will be our gain. Let them tell the world I love you with their whispering campaign. Whispering campaign. With their whispering campaign. Whispering campaign. With their whispering campaign.
It's been a while since I heard that one. Thanks for requesting that one, Mr. Tompkins. There, The Temples, April 1958. Whispering Campaign is the name of the tune. It's on the Date label. Now, it's nice to get those records on vinyl promos. The stock copies are that horrible styrene, yuck, that Johnny G totally detests. Yes, I do. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Got an ultra rare 45 up next, out of Utica, New York, as we stay in the year 1958. This is on Stanley Markowski's Mark label, and I originally pulled this one out for my Moon special, but only because the group's name, actually a pretty cool name, they're called the Teenage Moonlighters. What a cool name to call your group, the Teenage Moonlighters. But I will eventually, of course, play the A side of this, which I think is the better side. It's called Sorry, Sorry. But let's give a listen to the B side, which is a jump side. And I have no info about the group. I don't. I know my copy is autographed on the flip side, which is the A side, by the writer of the tune. And I think it's Al Cohen. I think he wrote both sides of this 45. But it's an ultra rare record on the Mark label out of Utica, New York. We go to October 1958. These are the Teenage Moonlighters. It's the B side. It's called I Want to Cry. Bopper Boy Warren, you have expensive taste. You like all these expensive records. Yes, you do. Those are the Teenage Moonlighters, October 1958 on the Mark label. It's out of Utica, New York, one of the rare records out of Utica, New York. I Want to Cry is the name of that one. It's that's a cool B-side, I think. Very nice kind of calypso-type dance. John G here for a Saturday evening spinning rare and not so rare 45s. Definitely not hits. That is for sure. I rarely do play hits, but let's continue here. Another 45 I haven't played in quite a while is we go back to Sid Nathan's Deluxe label, but they're Deluxe Records, of course, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but the group is out of Philadelphia, PA. They did this just this one record, and the group consisted of Charles Cossum, who was the lead singer, Philip Hewitt, he was the first tenor, Richard Hill, second tenor, Ronald Hedden, he was the baritone, and the bass and founder of the group goes by the name of Albert Hurritt, and he also wrote this song. Collectively, they were known as the Swingin' Phillies. I guess we can call the Philadelphia Phillies the Swingin' Phillies. But anyway, this is the intended B-side of the 45, and the better side, in my opinion. The A-side is actually a cool record to play on Halloween. It's called Frankenstein's Party, but for group collectors, this is the side. We go to August of 1958, the Swingin' Phillies on deluxe. The name of the tune is Love. Love.
Love spells love. I'm in love. That's what you tell me. I'm in love. That's what you tell me. I don't know. I guess you are telling me right. Hello, baby. When I'm with you, dear, I get a chill inside. Yes, I want you, dear. I want you by my side. I'm in love. Yes, I'm really in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I really love you, darling, with all of my heart and soul. Your love to me, dear, is the story untold. I really need you, darling, close to my heart. Say that we will never, ever part. I'm in love. That's what you tell me. I'm in love. That's what you tell me. I don't know. I guess you are telling me right. I'm in love. I'm in love. I love you. Yes, I do. I love you.
They're called the Swingin' Phillies. Swingin' Phillies there from August 1958. Deluxe Records. Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label posted this one up on my Facebook wall. I love those bio promos. Yes, I do. The Swingin' Phillies with L-O-V-E. Name of the tune is called Love. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next, one of my favorite songs on High Weiss's Old Town record label. Now, prior to this release, this group recorded on the Treat label, and I recently played both sides of their second single for Treat Records, another rare record called We Danced in the Moonlight, and their rendition of Let's Fall in Love. For that release, they were known as the Five Stars, but with their debut single, their first release, they were known as the Inspirators, and they kept that name for their last release. As we go to High Weiss's Old Town record label, was written by the lead singer. His name is Cleo Perry. And this one's from June of 1958. I like this record quite a bit. These are the Inspirators on Old Town, and their tune called Starlight Tonight.
Starlight, there's a million tonight. There's a million stars in the sky tonight. They are there because I'm holding you tight. Yes, yes, darling, tonight.
Those are the Inspirators. The Inspirators there with Cleo Perry on lead. June 1958 on the Old Town record label out of New York City. High Weiss's Old Town record label. Starlight Tonight is the name of that one. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We move into 1959. I remember when I bought this next 45, Warren. I do have a photographic memory. Yes, I do. But I purchased this one at the 303 Drive-In Flea Market in Orangeburg, New York, back sometime in the early 1980s. And it's nice to buy records for 10 cents a piece. Yes, it is. But we head back to the West Coast for this group called the Titans. They were named the Titans because of the new Titan missile that at the time was being developed by the United States Air Force. There you go. I thought that you would think that it would be like of a big brute Titan. No, it was because of the missile, the Titan. And they signed with Vita Records in late 1956, released 2 on the Vita label. Then they signed with Specialty for another 4 releases, and this was their last release on Leon Renee's Class label, written by the lead singer. His name is Curtis McNair. We go to January 1959. These are the Titans on Class with something that Johnny G needs more of, a song called No Time.
No time. Going to class, cutting grass, washing cars, counting stars, no milking cows, running plows. Woo! No time. No time. No time to do the rock and roll. No time to do the pop and stroll. No time. No time. Picking berries, eating berries, hold the corn, wash the no time. Oh, bring the cows in. La 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 la. No time. No time. No time washing dishes, making wishes, ironing shirts and making skirts, no time mending hose and washing clothes. Woo! No time. No time. No time to do the rock and roll. No time to do the pop and stroll. No time. Look out! No time. No time. No time. No time. No time to do the rock and roll, no time to do the pop and roll, no time. Got no time to go to the Saturday hop, call a gal on the telephone. Now on Sunday we go walking and her party's all the talking.
Leave my daughter alone because
no time washing dishes, making wishes, ironing shirts and making skirts, no time mending hose and washing clothes. Woo! No time. No time. No time to do the rock and roll, no time to do the pop and show, no time. No time to do the rock and roll, no time to do the pop and show, no time. No time to do the rock and roll, no time to do the pop and show, no time. Got no time.
January 1959 release there. They're called the Titans. The Titans there on Leon Renee's Class label. Curtis McNair, he's a lead singer, also wrote the tune. It's called No Time. Johnny G needs, as the Beatles said, 8 days a week. Yes, I do. If I had one more day a week, I think I would have enough. I would. It's just traveling back and forth to Newark every day to go to work. The ride is horrendous with the new Tappan Zee Bridge and the roads I go on. If it rains or if it snows, it's horrible. Anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue. Here's another one out of 1959. Now, on an earlier Vinyl Treasure Show, I featured the B-side of this 45, Ernie Young's Excello label. This group out of Jacksonville, Florida, their first of 2 on Excello. I played the intended B-side. Great up-tempo tune. It was called Won't You Let Me Know. And we're going to give a spin to the intended A-side, and it features John Stanberry on lead. He also gets writer credit on this song. It's from September 59. Give a listen to the King Crooners, 2 words with a C on this one. The King Crooners on Excello with the A-side. It's called Now That She's Gone.
That she's gone and left me all alone. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone. Now she's gone. Now she's gone. Now I'll cry. Cause she said goodbye. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone. Now she's gone. Now she's gone. Baby, 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 baby. You know I miss you so. Ooh, baby, 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 baby. You know I love you so. Now I'll cry. 'Cause she said goodbye. She's gone, she's gone, she's gone. Now she's gone. Now she's gone. Now she's gone. Now my baby's gone. She's gone. Gonna left me all alone. She's gone. Now she's gone.
That's from September 1959. They're called the King Crooners. The King Crooners. It's on Ernie Young's Excello label. John Stanberry, he's the lead singer. Now That She's Gone is the name of the tune. Their second release on Excello, they changed the spelling of their name slightly. On this one, Crooners is spelled C-R. On their next release, they spelled it with a K-R. Don't know why that happened. Anyway, it's called School Days and spelled D-A-Z-E on that other record. Anyway, Johnny babbling on here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these cool 45s out of my collection. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s and early 60s edition, and 4 more 45s to go in 1959. And we go back to Los Angeles, California now. On last week's Final Treasure Show, I played this group's second release on the RV label. It was called Ride Along. So how about we listen to the group's third release on the RV label? It's with Renee Hall and the orchestra. It features Beeman Young on lead. Now, Beeman gets co-writer credit on this song. I don't know why he does, because it's really a cover of a tune first recorded by the Crickets, by Dean Barlow and the Crickets on JD Records back in 1953. But anyway, we'll give it a spin from July of 59. These are the Tramps on RV, and their rendition of the tune, we'll say, a song called Your Love.
Runny, 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 babaloo. 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 Babaloo, runny.
Your love is all that I crave. I would be your slave if I could have your love. Your love is like a star. I want to be where you are so I can have your love. I swear all my
I could have your love.
I'm going to say cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show because that was first done by Dean Barlow and the Crickets on JD Records. But that's July 59. Those are the Tramps. That's their final release on RV Records. It's called Your Love. Of course, Beeman Young, he is the lead singer. Let's continue here. Posted this next 45 up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. I never get tired of this tune as it brings back memories of my aunt playing her Murray the K compilation LP that she bought back in, I think that LP came out in 1962. It was called Gassers for Submarine Race Watchers. I remember was it Diane Devitt that asked me about where she could go see the submarine races, and I said, I don't know, you got to ask the people in the chat room. But anyway, that album brings back a lot of memories. I like to hear it. I still have her scratchy copy. Got to find like a mint copy of that album. But when I hear this tune, I always think of that chess label spinning around and around. But anyway, the group is from Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, their first release has to be considered one of the classic two-sided 45s of all time, their first release. And the first one and this one came out on Jerry Herman's Note label originally, but then was picked up by Checker, actually their first and their second release. And of course, I'm talking about their first release, I'm So Young, backed with Every Day of the Week. But this was their follow-up to Every Day of the Week and I'm So Young, and it features a Leroy King on lead. You know what record I'm going to play. It's from mid-1959. It's on the original label Note Records. These are the Students with their tune called My Vow to You.
Why
Yes, Hi-Fi Tim, that definitely is a classic. Leroy King and the Students, their mid-1959 release, featured it on the original label Note Records out of Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where the Note label was from, but the group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Leroy King and the Students, My Vow to You, definitely a classic. Now, Checker would re-release this in January of 1962, probably because of Times Square Records was playing this record. It came out on the Murray the K albums. I think it was becoming popular again and definitely sold better second time around on the Checker label. And like I said, I latched onto this music with the second revival. I call it in the early 1970s. I used to tune into the Gus Gossard show on WCBS FM at the time. They were playing 50s vocal groups in the afternoon, in the morning. Really some rare stuff, but no more. I still have some of those old top 500 countdowns. I mean, if they took it now, I just couldn't imagine what people would be voting for nowadays if they did a top 500 again. Even if they would, I mean, the time for the 45 is all gone, all that innocent of these records going to the store and buying them. Although vinyl is still alive, I think, in the LP. 45s, though, they seem to be selling on eBay. Those people that are selling records, I see that they go. Maybe a lot of the Europeans are buying them too. But anyway, I'm keeping collecting alive, folks. Got to buy the 45s. Yes, you do. But that is a great record there. The Students with My Vow to You. John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on all these cool 45s. I remember buying that one, by the way. He's no longer alive. A Pittsburgh collector. Joe Jedlecka, I think was his name, was out of Pittsburgh. He relocated to Tennessee. He decided to sell out. And I bought that record, and I think the Laurels Baby Talk, the original version of Baby Talk by the Laurels, I purchased from him. But I think he has since passed away a while now. Anyway, let's continue here. Here's another flip side from my Moon theme special show I did maybe a couple weeks ago. I played a tune called Spellbound by the Moon, very rare 45 by a group called the Enchanters out of Detroit, Michigan. They had earlier releases on the Coral label, and their first, by the way, came out on the Mercer label in '56, very rare record. But here is their final release. It's from 1959. It's on the Stardust label. Alton Hollowell, he's the lead singer. We go to 1959, The Enchanters on Stardust. The song is called Know It All.
If I wasn't a know-it-all, I might have known that I was falling in love. But by me being a know-it-all, I didn't think I could. But I didn't know it when you grabbed me, kissed me, and started to grin. Something within me, darling, started to spin. Then something happened to me. Well, I really love you. I really, really need you. I really want you. Believe me, you should know. But when you started to cry, something within me, darling, started to die. And then my soul did just caught on fire. Then I knew I was in love. Well, I really love you. I really, really need you. I
started to cry. Something within me, darling, started to die. And then my soul, dear, just caught on fire. Then I was in love. I knew I was a know-it-all. Was a know-it-all. Was a was a was a.
Got it. Whoops. You got to send that one out to Carl Pellegrino. That's one of his favorite records. I think he asked me if I had that 45 by the Enchanters. He likes both sides of that record. But those are the Enchanters from 1959. Alton Hollowell, he's the lead singer. It's on the Stardust label. It's the B-side called Know It All. Of course, the A-side, Spellbound by the Moon. Hopefully, Johnny G not spellbounding you by these, or spellbinding you by these 45s out of my collection. Let's continue here. And here's another rare 45. We head back out to the West Coast, although this group originally from Chicago, Illinois. And now after Perkle Moses left the Eldorados, the group recruited a new lead singer. It goes by the name of Marvin Smith. The result was a release on the Academy label, and they came out as the Four Eldorados. From there, they went out to California and recorded 4 masters for Don Barksdale's Rhythm Records. He actually asked them to record. They were performing or out there in some venue, and he asked them to record for his Rhythm label, but of course they couldn't call them the Four Eldorados, so they called them the Tempos, and Barksdale released one single in March of '59. I like both sides of the 45, as the A side was played on Barksdale's radio station KWBR, but this is the B side of the 45. It's got Marvin Smith on lead. We go back to March of '59. These are the Tempos, aka the Eldorados without Perkle Moses, on rhythm. The song is called Never Let Me Go. No, don't like that.
Baby, 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 yeah, I love her now, baby. I don't need, baby. I want you, my lover. Don't wanna know other. Love
although he does sound like Perko Lee Moses to me, but it is not him. Those are the lose my place. The Tempos, Marvin Smith. He's a lead singer. That one there from March 1959. That's the B-side of the 45, Never Let Me Go. It's on the Rhythm label. Don Barksdale, a basketball player, went into the music industry, owned a radio station, KWBR, and the Rhythm label, and other labels out of Oakland, California. We continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show as we move into 1960 for a 45 on George Goldner's N record label. And you know I hate styrene, but this gal, her real name is Arnetta Livingston, but she recorded as Savannah Smith, and this is her debut single, written by Carl Spencer, involved with so many groups during his career, starting back with the Mellows, I think, or maybe even another group before then, but I know with the Mellows and so many other groups, but most notably for him, the Halos, that had a hit on their own, a song called Nag, and also that group, the Halos, providing backup vocals for Curtis Lee on Dunes, especially for Pretty Little Angel Eyes and Gee How I Wish You Were Here, another great two-sided 45. But they are providing the backup for this gal, Savannah Smith. We go to August of 1960, Savannah Smith on End, and her tune is called Let It Be. Her name is Savannah Smith. Savannah Smith, August 1960, being backed up there by the Halos. Carl Spencer, he wrote the song for her. Savannah Smith on the N label, Let It Be. Now you can play the Beatles' Let It Be after that. See, that just wouldn't go. No, it wouldn't. Anyway, John G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. Here we are in the year 1960. And on my Moon special, a couple weeks ago, I featured the B-side of this 45 by the Royal Teens a song called The Moon's Not Meant for Lovers Anymore. But here's the A-side. It charted regionally, was played here in New York and Philadelphia. This record played in those two areas. It features Joey Villa on lead from January 1960. Give a listen to the Royal Teens. It's on Capitol. The tune is called Was It a Dream?
Last night you made a vow that you would love me true. This morning I woke up wondering, did I dream of you? Now was it or wasn't it a dream? Or wasn't it a dream? Somehow it seemed so real when I held you so tight. This morning I woke up wondering, did I dream last night? Now was it or wasn't it a dream? Or wasn't it a dream? Are you really mine, mine to stay? Tell me, make this my happy day. Somehow it seemed so real when I held you so tight. This morning I woke up wondering, did I dream last night? Now was it or wasn't it a dream? Was it or wasn't it a dream? Was it or wasn't it a dream?
That's Joey Villa and the Royal Teens there. That one there from January 1960, Was It a Dream is the name of the tune, was the second of three on the Capitol label, was their follow-up to a cool tune they do that I like, a song called Believe Me. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, this next 45 is out of the state of Texas. It's on Ray Doggett's Dante label. This group there called the Epics. They backed up other artists that recorded for the Dante label, namely Dean Scott does a great two-sided 45. It's Never Too Late, backed with I Want to Get Married. But here's the first of three that this group recorded on the Dante label. Features a female lead. She's identified just as Jeannie. Her last name is unknown, but let's give it a spin from May of 1962. They're called the Epics on Dante. The tune is called So Many Times.
So many times I long to kiss your lips. So many times I needed to touch your fingertips, but it ain't gonna happen. No, it won't happen. It ain't gonna happen one more time. Oh, you'll come running back to me. But this time, I won't be around to see your misery. So many times you've hurt me, but you won't hurt me anymore. There'll be no more times like this, dear.
That's on Ray Dockett's Dante label. Not many records on this Dante label. I think there's like 13 or 14. But of course, B.J. Thomas and the Triumphs originally on the Dante label. And like I mentioned, there's this epic group. There's we mentioned earlier the Dean Scott. There's some other ones I do have on this epic, on this Dante label. But this one from May of '62. Jeannie is the lead singer. Don't know her last name, but these are the epics on Dante with so many times. John G spinning my 45 so many times tonight, and we're going to continue here, and we move into 1961. That was a little bit out of sequence because I thought that record was 1960, but Charlene corrected me. Thank you, Charlene. But we move into 61 with another cool two-sided 45. Originally came out on the Destiny label, which is out of Lorain, Ohio, but then it was picked up by Vivian Carter's VJ Records 2 months later. I'm featuring the original press on the Destiny label, which is styrene. I'm going to start whispering that word, styrene. But they are called the Infatuators, and the group providing the instrumentation are called the Leisures. And they also backed up someone on the Destiny label, Larry Lee and the Leisures. But anyway, these are the Infatuators from June of '61 on Destiny. Their tune called I Found My Love.
Boom, 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 every shabby do a boom, do baby do a every shabby do a boom, baby do a every shabby do a boom, baby do a found my love, found it at last, and the door is open to a lonesome past. Whoa, oh, oh. Shabby do a boom, baby do a every shabby do a boom, baby do a. When I first saw you in the moonlight, my heart skipped a beat all the rest of the night. Don't ever leave me, and we won't ever part. For if you do, you surely break my heart. I found my love, found it at last, and she'll never leave me, and I'll never let her go. Don't ever leave me, and we won't ever part. For if you do, you surely break my heart. I found my love, found it at last, and she'll never leave me. No, I'll never let her go. Every shabby do a bomb, baby do. 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 Every shabby do a bomb, baby do.
June '61 there. They're called the Infatuators. Infatuators on the Destiny label. That's the first label. You also can get it on the VJ label. I Found My Love is the name of the tune. Actually, I think that's the B-side of the 45. Flip side, of course, will be coming up in, I think, a couple weeks. Next week will be my all 1960s show. So those of you that enjoy the 60s got to tune in next Saturday evening as we move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I featured a group, Ray Frazier and the Moonrays, was actually a leftover, or one maybe I played it. I don't remember. No, I did not. I wanted to play because it had the Moonrays, but I didn't. But the side I played was the A-side called Heaven's Not So Far. But let's flip the 45 over as it features Ray Frazier on lead. Now, the Moonrays are really the Sharps, which included Carl Wilson and Al Frazier. And we heard earlier from Carl White. He was singing lead with the Tenderfoots on Federal. They are backing up Ray Frazier here as the Moonrays. It's on the Dynamite label. We go to Los Angeles, California, 1961, Ray Frazier and the Moonrays. The tune is called My Dream Love.
A shooting star, and there you are, an angel from above. From above, you belong to me, my dream love. Didn't thrill as much until your touch, an angel from above. From above, you belong to me, my dream love. Seems unbelievable and inconceivable that love comes in a dream. Yet I can plainly see you were made for me. Strange though it may seem, didn't thrill as much until your touch, an angel from above. You belong to me, my dream love, my dream love. You belong to me.
That's nice. I like that side better than the A side for sure. That's Ray Frazier and the Moonrays. It's on the Dynamite label out of Los Angeles, California. My Dream Love is the name of the tune from 1961. You know, if you miss any of the Vinyl Treasure Show, you can always go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the shows there. Also, get lots of action on my YouTube account, JohnnyG's Vinyl Treasures. You can see all these cool 45s. I record them live under Ustream Broadcaster, and then I post it up after the show up on my YouTube wall there. So there's lots of records there for you collectors to check out. Not only collectors, if you like the music, that too. As we continue here, we are right now, it's 12 o'clock, we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, so we'll go a little bit. I got a record I want Warren to hear. Warren, I got a 45 I want you to hear, and I think I'm coming up to it. It's another few records here, so we're going to play it. But anyway, let's continue here. We stay out in California for this group. They're out of Pomona, California. They had two 45s out at the same time under different names. Well, slightly different names. One was on Imperial, and the group was known as Terry and the Kittens. The other one was on the Kerwood label. They were known as Terry and the Velveteens. Now, I'm pretty sure they were the same group. This Terry gal, it's a gal, she really is Terry Bonilla, and I'm going to give a spin to the Kerwood release. We'll give a listen to that one. It's from February of 61. It's Terry and the Velveteens. It's on Kerwood Records. It's called You've Broken My Heart.
Why won't you come back to me?
sounds a little bit like Rosie Rosie Hamlin of Rosie and the Originals, but that's Terry and the Velveteens. Terry Bonilla, she's the lead singer. It's from February 61. Terry and the Velveteens on Kerwood. And there are other records on the Kerwood label. You've Broken My Heart is the name of the tune. On the Imperial release, she does a cover of You Cheated. And it's not really that bad, but we'll get that one on a future Vinyl Treasure show. John G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue for a few more here, and played both sides of this group's debut single that came out on the Teenage label over the last couple of weeks. They're out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually, they're a group of brothers. Started recording in 1957. I played Angels Cried back with The Cow Jumped Over the Moon the last couple of weeks. Their career spans decades. Now, the last single that I saw this group make was in the Whitburn book, was in 2006. It was called Just Came Here to Chill. That was their last single in 2006 on the Def Soul label. It actually bubbled under at number 108. If I had I don't even know if it was on a single. Wait, 2006? I don't think it would be on a single. If it's in the Whitburn book, I don't know, maybe. But it had Ronald Isley. It said Ronald Isley, a.k.a. Mr. Biggs, on lead. I guess that's his name. I guess we can call him Mr. Biggs because he's been around for so long and recorded so many records on so many labels, or so many songs on so many labels. But through the years. But here is one on the Atlantic label I really like. It's the third of 7 on Atlantic for this group, the Isley Brothers. Ronald Isley, he's on lead. We go to July of 61 for the Isley Brothers on Atlantic. It's called Right to Me.
How much you miss me since I went away. Oh, my little darling, come on and write me. I will feel so much better. Tell me, dear, that you kiss me in your dreams night and day. Put it on paper so it won't get lost. Just put it down on paper. How much can paper cost? And oh, just write it down on paper, the way you feel and think. Just one little piece of paper.
And that's my invitation to you listeners to write Johnny G an email. Send it to vinyltreasures@aol.com. Tell me that you're digging on all these cool records. I like that record. Warren, you like that 45. You're going to go buy it. It shouldn't be expensive. I don't think the Isley Brother 45s on Atlantic are expensive. Although you never know, you really never know. But I like that record. I think Ramtown Mike said he likes it too. That one there from July 1961, the Isley Brothers on Atlantic. A cool tune, a song called Right to Me. Let's continue here with a little bit more of Vinyl Treasure Overtime for this next artist from Crawfordsville, Arkansas. Began his singing career with a group called the Five Echoes on the Sabre label before he went solo and signed with Sam Cooke's SAR label. Here's his second release on SAR, and it's a cover song written by Ed Townsend, but I think the first recorded version of this was in December of 58 by the Treniers on Dot. They do this record first. Now, this version charted regionally. This record was number 8 on WVOL in Nashville, Tennessee. We go to March of 62 for Mr. Johnny Taylor. Johnny Taylor on SAR, Sam Cooke's SAR label. The tune is called Never, Never.
Loving you. When will I stop loving you? Tell me, when will I stop loving you? Loving you the way that I do. There's one more thing I wanna know. Tell me, when will I stop wanting you? Stop wanting you. Oh, when will I stop wanting you? Wanting you the way that I do. When mountains become valleys, and valleys mountains so when there's no stars way up yonder, and there's no moon in the sky, oh, will I stop needing you? Tell me, when will I stop needing you? Oh, when will I stop needing you?
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. First time I ever heard that song was listening on a Saturday afternoon to Bobby J, way before he went to CBS FM back, when was it, in the 80s or so? I don't know. He was on WWRL. He played that record. I never heard it before. I wrote it down and finally found a copy. Well, this was a long, long time ago, of course, but that's Johnny Taylor, March 1962, on the SAR label, his rendition of the tune Never, Never. John G's here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. I want Warren to hear a record. It's coming on in 2 more 45s. And here's another California 45 as we go to Lou Bedell's Bamboo label. This group, they're known as the Wonders. The lead singer goes by the name of Don Thomas, and he wrote this tune from August of 1962. And I like this. I like both sides of this 45. I have a mint copy floating around somewhere in the no humidity basement. This was my first copy, which plays okay. They're called the Wonders. It's from August 62. It's on Bamboo Records, Lou Bedell's Bamboo label. Don Thomas, he wrote it. He's the lead singer. It's called Please Don't Cry. Yeah, they're the Wonders. The Wonders there. Don Thomas on lead from August 1962, a song called Please Don't Cry. It's on the Bamboo record label. Now, this group would have one other release in early 1963, but on Lou Bedell's Doré label, the parent label to Bamboo Records, a song called Last Year Around This Time, another 45 that Johnny G really likes. Johnny G here for Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We are in the 1960s, and this next 45, this next song goes out to faithful listener Cheryl Morgan, and on last week I featured a ballad on this rare 45 out of Alamogordo, New Mexico, on the Yucca label. The song was called Everybody's Laughing at Me. It featured a female lead on that side, Jenny Johnson. She was doing lead. Now, the flip side features a male lead. His name is Eric Joyner, and the song was written by Alan Freed's son-in-law, Dick Liberatore. That is his name. And this one requested by faithful listener Cheryl Morgan. We go to February 1962, especially for Cheryl. These are the Ravons on Yucca, and the song is called Why Did You Leave Me?
You know I love you right from the start. You tell me, darling, why you
That one goes out by special request to Cheryl Morgan. I like that tune. The Ravons, February 1962. Very rare 45. If you have the original, you can get the $20. I don't know if you can call it a reproduction or the label repressed it. Somebody bought the Yucca pressing, the stampers and pressed some up, but the originals are really thick on this Ravons 45 on the Yucca label. It features Eric Joyner on lead. It's Why Did You Leave Me? Johnny G almost ready to leave you, but let's continue here with a little bit more. I just got this 45 in. Came in, I think, at the end of last week. A new addition to the Johnny G collection. It's on a Detroit label. It's called Spin Records. It was owned by Mike Harris and Willie Ewing. And the artist goes by the name of Gabriel Garrett, and there's a girl group backing him up. They come in a little after he starts singing, they come in, and I like this record. It's not in the Kreider book. It's not in any of the group books, but it's a cool tune. I like it. Warren, let me know what you think of this record from 1962. His name is Gabriel Garrett. No, Gabriel Garriott. Garriett. It's on Spin Records, and the name of the tune, it's one word. It's just called Faith.
It got to be faith. Yes, I knew it got to be faith.
1962. It's on the Spin label out of Detroit, Michigan. Gabriel Garriott and a girl group in the background there. Song entitled Faith, Spin Records, as I mentioned. Johnny G here doing Vinyl Treasure Overtime. A couple more 45s to go. Back to Los Angeles, California. Lots of records out of Los Angeles this evening. This group formed at Fairfax High School in Los Angeles, recorded on labels like Lord Bingo and Vision, but here is their debut single that came out on the Shepherd label, which is also out of Los Angeles, California. It features Joel Warren on lead. This one from June of 1962. They're called the Bo Jives. The Bo Jives on Shepherd. The tune is called I'll Never Be the Same.
said love was just for a day. That's what I thought till you came my way. All our friends knew our love was true. Well, now I know I'll never be the same. Oh, no. Now I know I'll never be the same. And then one day you stepped out of my dreams. Still had my friends, but I'm lonely it seems. 'Cause all the tears through all the years. Well, you know they show me that I'll never, be the same. Oh, no. Show me that I'll never be the same. If I could have what I wish forever. Whoa, yeah, I'd wish that you would leave me never. Oh, yeah, never. I know they say love is just for a day. Now I know why I don't feel that way. 'Cause all the tears through all the years, you know they show me that I'll never be the same. Oh, no. Show me that I'll never, be the same. Well, come on, pretty baby, no, they show me that I'll never be the same.
That's a debut single for a group called the Bo Jives. Bo Jives from June 1962. Joe Warren, he's the lead singer. I'll Never Be the Same is the name of the tune. It's on the Shepherd label. Now, in 1964, they would perform on an episode of Make Room for Daddy. I don't know, check it out if you can see when the Bo Jives performed in 1964. Johnny G's here doing Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We're going to continue for about 2 or 3 more 45s here as we continue. Up next, a pretty big hit in the Chicago area as we go to Bill Ehrman's Cortland label, as this 45 actually released on 2 different times. First in 1962 as by the Starr Brothers, then in 1963 they were called the Ideals, but in reality they are a duet. The duet is Donald Jenkins and Ronnie Strong. The tune written by Donald Jenkins. The copy that I'm featuring is the second release. The second release that came out in August of 63. So let's give a listen to the Ideals. This one was number 19 on WLS out of Chicago, Illinois. The Ideals on Cortland with their tune called Don Juan.
It must have been fun to make a fool out of Don Juan and go
Two more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here. Those are the Ideals, a.k.a. the Star Brothers, a.k.a. Donald Jenkins and Ronnie Strong. August 63 release for that Cortland release, that Cortland number, the Ideals with their tune called Don Juan. Two more 45s to go here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. This next singer is out of New York, has three very successful soulful recordings on the A&M record label in 1968 and 1969. But here is his first effort on a label called Levette Records. He goes by the name of Jimmy Richards, and there is a group in the background. I have no clue who they are. It's from April of 1964. We're going to send it out to Linda Gaeta. Linda Gaeta tuned into the Vinyl Treasure Show. Hope she likes this tune by Jimmy Richards. Jimmy Richards on Levette. It's called I'm Blue. Whoa. Don't want to do that. April 1964 there for Jimmy Richards and a group. It's on the Levette record label, a song entitled I'm Blue, but you never should be blue when you're tuned into Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. That is for sure. That's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original Vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Been recording this one on the Ustream broadcast. They're going to get it up on my YouTube account. Also, we'll post it on my Facebook wall. You can go to John Galindo, you can see it there. I post it every week, or just about every week, I think I have. Lots of people have been going to the YouTube website. Thank you, folks, for that. Also, you can go to vinyltreasures.net. You can download or stream the shows there for your listening pleasure. And I'm going to be back here next Saturday for my all 1960s show. So 1964 and later, 45s out of my collection. We kind of touch the cusp of 1970 sometimes, but not often. But a lot of cool 60s records out of my collection. So for those of you that like the 60s, they're different clientele of people, and both people like it like I do. Please come and tune in. Yes, you can. Well, that's going to do it, folks. And tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show, 9 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and all the other shows that are here on Top Shelf Oldies with, I think it's like the best station as far as the other stations that I've listened to on the net. Not impressed, really not. Even those doo-wop stations, they really am not impressed with their sound, but we have a very professional theme here on Top Shelf Oldies. So really, tune into this station. This is the better station it is. And that's what I say. And listen, and I'm a busy guy. I really am, but I really enjoy doing the show. I wish I had more time. I wish I was retired, but that's not happening yet. So sometimes it's very difficult for me to put together the show, but I do because I enjoy playing the records every Saturday, and I just don't have the time anymore to do a lot of the listening that I would like to do. But hopefully at retirement time I'll have a lot more time. Maybe I'll be able to file all my 45s back by then. But anyway, I enjoy bringing you the show every Saturday right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and thank you, Charlene, for all your help. Now, the closer tonight, very special closer tonight on tonight's Vinyl Treasure show. Lost it here. Here it goes. As I was saddened to hear of the passing of a record dealer, collector, and singer by the name of George Lavatelli, who with another partner purchased the Relic Record Shop in downtown Hackensack, purchased that record store and the stock from Eddie Grice and Don Folletti back in 1978. And lots of collectors through the years would show up there at that store, and they would gather on Saturday mornings and shoot the breeze about collecting and other hot topics of the day. And I also had some dealings with George in the past. Actually, when I started buying on eBay, bought some records from him because he was selling on eBay, and had really one major purchase from George, a Stoneman copy he sold me of the Calendars on Cyclone. Had to pay a lot of money for that, but that was a record that I really wanted, and he had that, and I'm so glad to have that in my collection. But sad to hear of his passing just last Wednesday. And George was also a singer. He was a member of the group The Bon Airs, along with Mike Palladino, Dennis Diamond, and Scotty McLeary. Now, they were original members of the group that recorded for Rust, and other members that also recorded with the Bon Airs later on for the Catamount label and UGHA and other labels. They were Ken Fleming and Richie Burns, Dennis Ostrom, and Tom Vitale, and they recorded with the Bon Airs. So in memory of George Lavatelli, and also he was also behind all those WFUV countdowns for all the years and all he's done for this music, that I'm going to play a song that he sang lead on. It was the B-side of the group's debut single, although my promo copy says, "Please Push This Side." And it was released in March of 1964, and it's an appropriate closer to my show for this evening, an appropriate closer for George Lavatelli as we pay tribute to him and all he has done for us and the person he was to a lot of people. So anyway, it's a great tune. I like this song. The closer tonight that I will be leaving you with tonight is this tune in memory of George Lavatelli from March of 64. These are the Bon Airs with George Lavatelli on lead. It's on Russ Records. The name of the tune is called Bye Bye. So just want to say, everybody, so long.
Bye bye, bye goody baby, bye bye. Bye bye, bye bye goody baby, bye bye. Bye bye, bye bye. Baby, don't you cry, cry, cry. Don't you cry, baby.
don't you
Cry, cry, baby, baby, cry, cry.